Right, guys, I've been away. I've been sick. You might hear my voice. I'm still a little bit sick at the moment, but I'm getting back into it. So, we have some breaking news. As you know, the USA and Iran, they tried to meet up for a deal, to arrange a deal over the weekend, and didn't go very well. Breaking news, details emerge regarding the failed talks between the USA and Iran as negotiations end with no deal. So obviously, it's the weekend, the markets are closed. The futures do open tonight, so we might see a reaction in the futures tonight, which potentially could drag crypto down further. Obviously, crypto is already a bit down, but I'm not sure. People don't know how the market's going to react, so you'll probably see Bitcoin follow the futures tonight. And then when the market opens, because obviously people who have Bitcoin and ETF in an ETF can't sell, right, until the market opens. So you're going to see that open tonight, so keep an eye on that, and then we're going to see how the market reacts tomorrow. We might also get some news from Trump between now and then, right? Because it's kind of embarrassing for Trump. He wanted this Strait open. He made this big announcement that a deal's been put in place, and that there was no real ceasefire. Everyone kept attacking each other, and the Strait's still closed, right? Iran have said the Strait's closed. They've started sending ships back. It's kind of embarrassing for Trump, and the oil prices are going up, have gone up. People are paying more money at the pump. This is going to increase inflation. And I don't know if there's any diplomacy here for Trump to take. I think it's probably going to be more aggression because, they've tried to talk with Iran. They've tried to set up a deal. The deal's been rejected. Where do you go from here? And, you can't have the Strait closed for month after month after month. So some of the reasons that it got rejected, it says talks ended because Iran refused to offer a commitment not to develop a nuclear weapon. Now, that's quite a big one because Trump has said many times before that they can't have a nuclear weapon. And if that's one of their main arguments, then I don't see this ending anytime soon, right? Especially Israel, we're going to put pressure on that as well. JD Vance says Iran has chosen not to accept the US terms. Iran currently has no plans for additional talks with the US per Iran's Fars News. So they're not even planning to have more talks. They've kind of said, look, these talks are off the table. They're kind of trying to dictate what they want now. They're calling the shots, so to speak, and it doesn't seem like they're afraid to be attacked again. So being very stubborn for now, and it's going to be interesting to see what Trump does. I will say the Trump camp enjoy making money, and the markets were up. So the markets closed quite positive on Thursday, Friday. The markets were almost at all-time high, which is insane to even think about. If you think about all the other issues we've got in the markets with credit issues, credit fund issues, people not being able to get their money and told that, the limits on withdrawals, inflation, jobs, it's crazy. Then we've got the Ukraine-Russia war. We've got 25,000 people die in a month. Then you've got Iran, Israel. It's insane to think that the stock market is still close to all-time high. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens and how they react to this when the market opens. JD Vance did come out and talk recently. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear this. Let me play this anyway. So I hope you heard that, and I think the key message he said there is that this is worse news for Iran than it is for America. It didn't sound very diplomatic. It sounded more aggressive to me personally. So let's see what the next step is. Israel Prime Minister came out and said Israel still has more to do in Iran. So I mean, this isn't ceasefire, peaceful talk, right? I mean, why are you going to agree to a peace if Israel is saying that it's not over, right? There's still going to be more done. I think that's probably something that Iran are trying to close. They keep asking for guarantees that there's not going to be any further attacks. So, things like this don't really help them settle into a ceasefire. Why are we going to give you a ceasefire? Why are we going to help your oil prices come back down if you're saying that it's not over in Iran? You're going to attack us again. Well, let's get this resolved now, right? There's been a lot of FUD around World Liberty Finance as well, and it's almost going into the mainstream now. Beeple has huge following, 853k followers, and look how many likes this has, 3.9k likes. It's almost becoming common knowledge that the Trumps are extracting money out of the markets, and is now being made into a meme. That's the level of transparent corruption that we've seen over the last year or so. Now, this is just speculation, right? I'm not saying that they've done anything, but we're seeing a lot of news stories come out. Justin Sun's come back out saying my money's still frozen. They froze like $100 million of Justin Sun's funds. There's some other stories now coming out that they were taking some of the tokens to use as collateral, borrowing USDC. It just looks really, really shady. And I think we all knew it was going to be shady anyway. I mean, I've been talking about World Liberty Finance going to the bin since it launched, right? I think back here it was 13 cents, and I said my target in 6 months is 0.01. I think today it's in the sevens, so I think it's like 0.07 cents. So it might even be down 50% since this post. I've already closed my short. I've already taken profits. I'm not short right now. I don't like to short dumps. I like to short pumps, and I started shorting World Liberty Finance when it launched, and I took some profits. I wish I'd held it open. I would wish I'd held a lot of my shorts open because the market has crashed so much, but no one went broke taking profits, and I made a lot of money shorting, and I took some out of the market and took it into the real world. If you're still short, congratulations. I do think it is going to hit 0.01 eventually, which isn't far from now. I mean, if it's 7 cents now, it's not actually that far. So absolutely disgusting if it does hit that target. 2 oil supertankers crossing the Strait of Hormuz make a sudden U-turn after the US-Iran talks collapse. So there must have been some sort of alert go out to tankers and ships to reverse, and obviously they closed the strait again. And this is going to hit the markets tomorrow. The problem with this situation is the longer this goes on, the worse it's going to be long term. Okay, so if you have like little issues like this, you remember the last time the USA attacked Iran and they bombed the mountains, and then they got in and out and it was over. That was kind of a pump and dump over a short period of time, but this is becoming a long-standing battle now, and I think it's going to have an impact longer term as we go in. We usually have a bad summer anyway. You have this famous saying in stocks and the market, selling may go away. I think it's going to be a bad summer. You usually have a bad summer in crypto too, but obviously this is the bear market cycle. So historically it's really bad, and now we have multiple wars and inflation and bad jobs and AI taking jobs away from people. And then quantum FUD. There's a lot of FUD right now, and this is very normal, guys. It's going to get very bearish over the next 3 to 4 to 5 months, and you're going to see so much bad news, and everyone's going to say this is dead and crypto's dead and everything's dying. And it happens every 4 years, and then eventually people start to buy the dip, and we come into better times, right? It's just the market cycles. But it's funny how it does tie up with macro sometimes, the bear market. It's like last bear market we had all the stable coins depegging. We had a financial meltdown in TradFi, and a lot of banks had to get bailed out. It is interesting how they all kind of seem to happen in the bear market. Just in, Pakistan deploys 13,000 troops and fighter jets to Saudi Arabia as the US and Iran failed to make a deal. So wonder what's going on here. I mean, this does look escalatory to me. It does seem like they are preparing for further attacks. Again, just speculation. Nothing's been confirmed now. But if we do see the bombs starting to go back and forth again, brace yourself for the markets, because obviously I don't think that's priced in, that the stock market is almost at all-time high. I hope you can hear this. Let me play this from Warren Buffett as well. Warren Buffett has said he's waiting for a larger move to the downside. I think he's sitting on around $350 billion in cash. And Warren Buffett is a very good investor. Does he get everything right? Absolutely not. But what I'm looking for is confluence here. I'm looking for situations where people who are very good at this are sitting in cash, or do think there's going to be potentially some more downside, and using it as confluence. If Warren Buffett is bullish or bearish, do I copy him? Absolutely not. If I'm bearish and I see, okay, Warren's also bearish and sitting on cash because he thinks the market's going to come down, then it's more confluence for my case, right? So he mentioned there a couple of key things. This is nothing, is one of the things he said. He also mentioned 50% corrections, which he shouldn't really have mentioned unless he has he's trying to suggest that we're in a period of time where we might see a potential 50% correction. He also said, he talked about one Monday where the market crashed by 20%, and it does feel like he's expecting some sort of crash or pullback in the market. Does this mean that this is, guaranteed to happen? Absolutely not. And it could potentially continue to move up, especially when we have a ceasefire. But the stock market has been on an absolute insane rally, and the macro is quite negative at the moment. And some stocks are up 1,500%. 20x. It's absolutely insane, right? Nvidia is now, we're pushed up to over 5 trillion in market cap without having a serious correction. So it seems like Warren Buffett is still expecting some more downside. I don't think Warren would sit and wait for a 50% correction. I think he's a lot smarter than that. And I think if the market did come down 20%, which is a lot, it doesn't sound like a lot to us in crypto, it is a lot in the stock market. If it did crash 20%, I think he would start to dollar cost average. And you're not going to hear about that straight away. You're going to hear about that, after the purchases have been made. And you're probably going to see it on the charts as well, because the guy's got $350 billion in cash. Bitcoin does tend to front run the stock market, and Bitcoin is still, it's not quite down 50% from all-time high, but it did hit 50% correction. And it historically goes down 70-80%. Again, I don't know if we're going to hit those numbers, because this time's different, I say in inverted brackets, but Bitcoin does tend to front run the stock market, and the stock market is still sitting around all-time high. And also it can front run it on the way out. So, let's say Bitcoin does come down 60-70% and it starts to recover, then you might see the stock market lag that move, right? So let's say Bitcoin takes another leg down to 60K, 50K, you might see the stock market start to come down, and that actually might mark the bottom area for Bitcoin as it starts to reverse. And then you see the stock market start to follow afterwards, if that makes sense. So everything is going still to plan. We looked at this chart a long time ago. We said we're going to come down to support, push up to an all-time high, then start the bear market. And so far, this has played out to the exact T. And we broke down below our bull run trend line, just as we did last cycle, and we're now going into a bear market. At some point or another, I am expecting us to go into this sideways accumulation phase, and it does usually last some months. I've posted this green line here because this is historically where the market tends to bottom and starts to reverse. So really what you want to see here is just some sideways accumulation now, right? We don't have to go down in a straight line. We don't have to do this in a straight line. You know, we can push to the upside. We can just chop here or whatever, but we want to see really some stability here, some sideways chop as we go into this 12-month correction, and then start to look for the pushback to all-time high and then into price discovery. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. It's a dangerous time to trade here. I'm not really looking to trade too much. The easiest trade was taking a short here, you know, long in at support here, long in at support here, obviously buying the bear market, which we've done very well this cycle, and then shorting all the way down. It's not very easy to hear. It's not very easy here. The price has already come down 50%, right? Altcoins got decimated. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, everything crashed. And, you know, we've done very well to take profits in this range. We've done well to buy in this range. And now it's just no man's land, right? And it's even worse here because it's being manipulated by Trump. If we look at the SMC bot on the 4-hourly time frame, it's just been buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And a lot of these moves were actually coming off the back of White House announcements as well, right? So we're seeing a lot of manipulation. We're seeing a lot of news. Moving markets, and we're also seeing a lot of short squeezes. You know, the market was just rallying here into the deal, and then now we see no deal, and we're probably going to come back down. It's just chop, and it's very hard to trade. I mean, if you look at it, we're still just going sideways. We're at the same price we were back in March. You know, we're just literally going sideways, but it's just absolute chop. And I don't really like this range. I like to take shorts. You know, after massive pushes to the upside, and I like to take longs after massive dumps. I don't really like to trade this chop, and it does get very hard to trade. The SMC bot does help. I mean, look, if I took a short here, I won. If I took a long here, I won a lot. If I took a short here, I won. I just don't like to day trade, and especially when you get into these zones here, you see where it's like buy, sell. It's very hard. And unless you have strict discipline, it is going to get you at some point or another. So I'm just chilling for now. I'm sitting in a lot of cash. I've been sitting in cash for a long time. We started to take profits 2 years ago. We started to take some profits out of the market. And I'm just chilling. I have been buying some small bits here and there. Nothing major. I barely started to buy anything. I still think we are going to see a little bit more downside here. And I'm looking for some sideways consolidation. I'm looking for it to get boring. I'm not looking for these aggressive moves. Everyone's looking for these massive moves to the upside or downside. I think we're going to be chopped here. If we get lucky, we might see a big leg down, right? If we get very lucky here, we might see a big leg down. And this did happen last cycle. We chilled for a bit, and then we had a big 20, 25, 30% move to the downside. That's if we get lucky. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it potentially could happen. And if we get lucky, I'm buying 100%, right? If we see that next 25, 30% move down, I'm starting to buy quite heavy and starting to allocate quite a lot of spot into some assets that I've been looking at for a while now. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm just chilling for now. What do you think we are doing? Do you think we're going to go down? Do you think it's going to be a buy the news? I'd say one thing you have to be careful of is a ceasefire rally. If we do eventually get a deal, we do get a ceasefire rally. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but let's say we do. There is going to be a lot of euphoria, and the bottom's in, and you know, everyone's going to be saying that's it. You know, we're going towards all-time high now. I think that would be short-lived, and then I think reality would kick in, and then we come back and just carry out our normal bear market move and find a bottom, as we usually do with Bitcoin around 12 months after the top, right? I think it will be a pump and dump relief rally, ceasefire relief rally, and you know, I'd be quite interested in shorting that. I don't know. I don't think this deal is going to be resolved anytime soon. I just think there's too many moving parts now, and Iran want too much for the US to give up, and yeah. It doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I mean, I hope it does. I don't want any wars to go on. I've got property in Dubai. I don't want any conflicts to go on. I'm just being realistic. It doesn't look good. Guys, we've got around 1,000 people in our Discord now. We've got around 700 people using the SMC bot to take trades. So this gives buy and sell signals on assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stocks, currencies. If you want to get this in your own trading view and you want to join our Discord so you can see what trades we're taking, you can see what stocks I'm buying. I bought some stock. I bought another stock recently. You can see what cryptos I'm buying. And you can join us as we start the next cycle, right? We had a really, really good cycle. We managed to buy in the bear market. We managed to take profits near all-time high. And we even managed to take some really big shorts around the top of the market too. Is that going to happen again next cycle? I hope so, right? I hope I long the bottom of the market. I hope I start to buy around the bottom of the market. And then I hope I start to short and sell at the top. We've done very well over the last few cycles. Is it going to happen again? Not guaranteed, but we're only getting better. We've got more data. I'm building an AI website now, and it's absolutely insane what I'm seeing from that AI algorithms that we've created, which is going to be more data for us to hopefully make better decisions. And yeah, if you want to join us, head over to my Twitter and search this one, not the top one, search this one here. And that will take you to my page, and then click this link, and then after you click that, you can join the Patreon. And then once you join the Patreon, it's a monthly fee, it's not a yearly fee. You can join and leave after your month's up or after your 2 months are up. If it's not for you, if you don't like it, you can leave. But yeah, after you join the Patreon, you get access to the Discord, and you also get the SMC bot, and we get that set up in your own trading view. You don't need a paid trading view to use it, so it works in a free trading view as well. So yeah, and then you just literally click the asset you want to look at, and then it's going to give you, this is the monthly time frame, so I wouldn't really use the monthly, I use the weekly, and then it's going to give you buy and sell signals on the assets. It just snaps to grid. You literally click on it, it snaps to grid. It will print these yellow signals as well when the market's getting a little bit toppy, which can also help you if you're looking for short positions. But then eventually the main sell is this one. You see where it printed the sell signal here, and then bang, back tested, rejected, and then down to the downside. Really nice signals here on Ethereum, really nice. I mean, if you took that long position, you absolutely printed. If you took that sell, you printed. If you took this sell, you printed. So yeah, it can be really, really cool. It's going to be interesting. I do think the next time we get a buy signal on Ethereum, I do think it's potentially going to be the bottom of the market. So I really want to see something like this play out. We continue this bear market, and then let's say the moving average rolls over like this, and then eventually when we break above that, that's where I'm interested in taking longs and buying some spot. Guys, that's it for now. Nothing in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto, investing in anything is highly risky. You can lose all of your money investing in anything. So always do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. Don't forget to drop a like and comment below to help the algorithm, and subscribe if you're not subscribed and you enjoyed the video. I am sick at the moment. I am getting better. So I'm going to try and do as much as I can. But I should be getting better in the next week. I'd like to get back onto daily videos, hopefully, but I'm also keeping my guys updated in the Discord, right? And I'm doing lots of market research, I spend a lot of time looking for stuff to invest in. It's difficult because you have to try and predict the future. It's not, people are talking about what's happening now. I mean, that's not how you make money. I posted this recently because everyone's talking about Zcash. And I said, privacy has support right now, sure, in an administration that personally uses decentralized and private networks, as we know the Trumps do, and they're all about privacy, and why do you think that is? But what happens when the Dems are back in charge and they return to control? The Democrats love control, transparency, censorship. They hate privacy protocols. And I know this because I used to work in the industry. I used to work in exchange. And the Democrats were putting pressure on those exchanges, saying that you can't list this privacy token. We weren't even allowed to list privacy tokens, or it would put the whole company at risk. We could potentially be shut down for listing these privacy tokens. And that has been taken away. But is that going to come back, right? Is that pressure going to come back? And what happens when Coinbase get an email from whoever's in charge Gary Gensler 2.0 saying, hey, actually, we've had a look into Zcash and we don't like it because it allows terrorists or, you know, any of the usual BS they spin to launder money, right? Laundering money is a massive no-no for most governments, not this current admin. It's a massive focus for most governments, as you see with the EU, right? They're taking a massive step away from crypto. But right now, it's all the craze right now. But that's not how you make money. You need to think about where's the market going to be in 4 years. And after the way Trump and this war has gone, I'm seeing a lot of big Trump supporters even turning on Trump. So people who have worshipped him, you know, them real big MAGA supporters who have started to come out and say, you know, I can't get behind this anymore. So I do think the Democrats are going to win. We need to start thinking, where's their mind going to be at? How are they going to come down? And they're probably going to crack down on the Trump family. They're going to try and put them in prison. They're going to try and dig out all the records of the fraud. They're going to go through that meme coin, all the retail users that lost money. It's trying to put yourself in their head 4 years from now. Where's the market? What's the trend going to be? I do think the tokenization of TradFi is still going to be there. I think real world assets are still going to be on the table, and I think they would like that, especially if it's going to be on a transparent chain where they can monitor and audit everything. And also BlackRock are not going anywhere. BlackRock have huge control, so watch what BlackRock say, and they're not backing away from the tokenization of assets. So I think that market's still going to be there. I just think privacy is going to be a struggle, and I see a lot of people putting a lot of money into the privacy sector. And I've studied money laundering when I had to work at the crypto exchange for some time, and I just can't see it happening, guys. I really can't. But hey, does that mean I won't put 1% of my allocation in? Absolutely not, right? Maybe I want some exposure just in case it goes on to be one of the biggest narratives ever, and that way I'm hedged, right? I just wouldn't go and put 5, 10, 15, 20% into privacy because I don't see it being a major narrative if the Democrats win. So yeah. Let's try and think, where's the market going to be 4, 5 years from now? I think stocks is absolutely a gem right now because we have some major sectors that have popped up that potentially could be bigger than AI. I think there's new sectors that could be bigger than AI, and that's where I want to be having a lot of my money on the brand new disruptive technologies, especially as AI is filled with money and profits right now. I think a lot of that's going to trickle down into these new sectors that we see Nvidia going into, right? We see BlackRock investing in these new sectors, and then they start to shill it to retail, and then retail FOMO in. That's what I'm really excited about. I still think there's going to be huge opportunities in crypto as well, and of course I'm going to be allocating capital there. But I'm so excited for this next stock cycle. That's it for now, guys. Until then, I will catch you in the next one.